So the next slide. So why is it difficult to assess teamwork? The first difficulty point is simulation-based training, based team training. You need to observe multiple participants. In other words, you need to observe multiple interactions. And next one is not individual training. So you might imagine that there are many group dynamics between the participants. And the other one is high possibility of off the path. Even if the individual training, you need to think about the possibility of off the path, but when it's come to the team training, you need to think about it's higher than the individual training. The last one is simultaneous actions. So when there are so many people, there are so many things that happen at the same time. And when it's come to interprofessional simulation-based training, it is easy to imagine there are many perspectives gaps. When the physicians train with physicians, that might be easier than training with other professionals like nursing or pharmacologist, because there are monotonous gap between the same professional. And the next one is it takes time to understand mutually. So we need to validate and high reliable teamwork assessment tools. And I would like to introduce you what kind of team assessment tools are working so far. This journal introduced 4, and I would like to introduce a little bit detail about each of them. Number 1, Team Performance Observation Tool, which consists of 25 items. And actually, they have 5 subscales like team structure, leadership, situation monitoring, mutual support, and communication. I think most of you have knowledge about team steps, and this is actually coming from Team Steps by Department of DoD.
Yeah, in US, and by the Patient Safety Center, National Patient Safety Center.
Yeah.
Sorry for the interruption.
That's right. Thank you. No, and then below each subscales, there are about 5 or 6 small items. Let's have a look on the team structure. The number 1, A, assemble a team. Number 2, establish a leader. So you can imagine this is kind of difficult to check it out in the short time.
Mm-hmm.
This is actual format that Team Steps are using. You need to fill out your name or date, and you need to rate using Likert scale from 1 to 5 for each items. And you can calculate average scale, average rating, and at last you can calculate the total score of TPOT tools. The next one is Mayo High Performance Teamwork Scale, which is published in the SSH journal. And the typical characteristics of this tool is that you need to fill in the score from 0 to 2. But you need to observe many kind of things. Let's have a look closely. Like number 4, the team prompts each other to attend to all significant clinical indicators throughout the procedure, which means you need to look at from the top to bottom, and you need to pay attention closely. And as a last, maybe you can judge which score would be the appropriate. And this is actually good, but you can imagine it is still difficult to use it. And the last one is Clinical Teamwork Scale. This is actually looks really easy, but please have a look on the rating. This is from 0 to 10. So you need to judge the team performance from 0 to 10. Even it's categorized into 5, like unacceptable, poor, average, good, perfect. But you need to have some specific and concrete ideas or knowledge about team performance or team training. So, as I introduced some tools to assess teamwork, it is really difficult to assess teamwork. So these research groups like to decrease the subjectivity of the team performance observation tool. This is one of the aims of this study. And the next aim is that to determine the psychometric properties of TPOT when using scenario-specific targeted behavioral markers. So let me explain about these TBMs. This is developed by this research group, and you can see more closely if you have handout. This is from Appendix 2. So the right side, there are some specific target behavior for not only nursing student, but also PT student. And when you look in the middle, actually the checklist on the right is connected to the subscales of TPOT. So typical characteristics of this TBMs is all checklist is related to behavior. So you need to think about what kind of behavior student would do during the simulation scenario. And then you can create these TBMs. So how did they develop TBMs? As I mentioned before, this is really strictly connected to 25 items on TPOT. So one nursing faculty and one physical therapy faculty have a meeting on this developing, and they figure out what kind of behavior the student would do, and each behavior is linked to which one of the TPOT items, and then they created the specific items they expect student would do. So when you complete the TBMs, you can find out that all items is based on TPOT. Other methodology they used were those two. One of them is event-based approach to training, EBAT. And the other one is targeted acceptable responses to generated events or tasks. Both are from psychological the publishing, and I won't introduce those detail today, but if you have any interesting, please check it out. So this is how they develop TBMs. So let's move on to the next slide. This is a method of this research. The participants are 47 second-year doctor physical therapy students and 25 senior-level Bachelor of Science nursing students. They divided into 24 mixed teams. Each team has 2 DPT students and 1 or 2 BSN students. First, all students received a didactic lecture about what is patient safety or what is appropriate attitude for the patient, like that. After that, they divided into 24 groups, and then each group have the meeting for the first time. And they also have introduction about hospital-acquired conditions, but in other words, they made friendship with each other this time. And 2 weeks after that, they have simulation-based training. Scenario was about mobilizing and checking the patient who have traumatic brain injury and who has inserted multiple medical equipment. And this traumatic brain injury patient is a young boy and who has a chest tube and nasal gastric tube and O2 equipment and several equipments. And nursing students need to check his back, whether there is no decubitus or skin ulcer or something like that. And also they need to check the breath sound from the backside. At the same time, the physical therapy student need to sit the patient up on the bed with paying attention to these multiple equipments. Now, after simulation training, actually they were recorded, and 3 raters independently reviewed the 24 simulation videos using TPOT plus minus TBMs. Let me explain a little bit more. This is the image of the research design. And they recorded all 24 sessions, and 3 raters individually reviewed the video. For rater 1, she using TPOT and also TBMs, and she reviewed the video twice in 2 weeks interval because she would like to know the retest reliability. And for rater 2, he also used the TPOT and TBMs. And actually, rater 1 and rater 2, these are the person who developed TBM's contents. On the other hand, rater 3, he only used a TPOT. And at the same time, the raters evaluate their team performance on these 2 viewpoints. The one is the time mannequin sat on the edge of the bed. Actually, they count the second, how long they took time on the patient sitting. And the other one is number of errors made by team. Errors like when patient lay down, the students should prevent the scar or decubitus point to pressure, like that. So this is all about the research design and results. They analyzed this result with quantitatively. The first result is about TPOT overall rating and 2 measures of team performance. There was positive correlation, TPOT overall rating, and time of mannequin sit. And there is negative correlation between TPOT overall rating and number of errors the student made. As for rater 3, as I introduced before, actually he didn't use TBMs. The research showed that positive correlation between TPOT overall rating and time of mannequin sit, and no significant correlation between TPOT overall rating and number of errors. So this is a table 1 from the journal. You can see the inter-rater reliability between the 2 of them. And between rater 1 and rater 2, you can see the weighted kappa was 0.73, which is good. Please refer to the right upper references if you need. And the left lower, table 3, the internal consistency reliability for the TPOT is high in all 5 subscales. So there is not actually a difference between each subscales. So let me move back to the table 1. In other words, between rater 1 and rater 3, or between rater 2 and rater 3, there is a little bit lower inter-rater reliability. You can think about the reason. So, discussion. This result indicates that when TPOT is expanded by TBMs, It has satisfactory validity and reliability. And the next one is the TPOT itself has satisfactory validity. The limitation, the time and expertise are required in TBM's development and application. So in summary, teamwork is a dynamic process which cannot be captured by a brief tool. If TBMs are designed for the evaluation tool, this would enhance the reliability and validity of the brief tool like TPOT. Let me explain a little bit about the result, the first two results. First one is this research group created a TBM. It's specific for each behavior. So when you use TPOT alone, maybe you cannot judge the performance with high reliability because it's highly dependent on the rater's perspective. But if you use TPOT with TBMs, this shows that they can assess with high reliability. And next one, TPOT itself has satisfactory validity. The reason why they said that result is because the research group measured two team performance. As I mentioned before, the number one is the time the patient is sitting. The number two is the number of errors. And there are positive or negative correlation between TPOT overall rating and these two measures. That is a reason they said the TPOT itself has a satisfactory validity. Okay, let's move on. The last slide, discussion point. I hope you guys understand this journal, and I'd like to talk about if you have any questions or if you have any ideas about this research. I'd like to discuss with that. And the next one, the usefulness of these TBMs in your context. So if you have any, experiences on team training or interprofessional training, maybe you have difficulty in seeking the specific or appropriate assessing tool. So if you can make TBMs in your context, is it useful or not? I'd like to discuss. The next one is any other tools to assess interprofessional simulation training. A key message of this research is that it is really difficult to assess interprofessional simulation training. And they created or they developed TBM's idea, but what else? It will be the good assessment tool. If you have any ideas, it will be glad to share your ideas this time. And the last one, anything else? So I hope some participants are with us right now.
Yeah, we have about 5 people now, and still got a message. Amin sends me he cannot get on, but anyway, so that's okay. So yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, I can see the number of attendees, but I cannot see the name of them, right?
Oh, okay. So anyway, we see them. Oh, but anyway, that's fine. So we will. Hope, yeah. If any question can be shared by the, can be shared through the chat box, and then we can discuss here. So Sayaka, I think I will start with my question first. So basically, thank you so much for sharing this, and then I just, the study they did with the 2 PT plus 1 or 2 nursing, and, they assess them how well they perform in the team. I just feel like, the whole process was so labor intensive. So also, of course, it requires the expertise from the researchers to get this happen. So that's why my question is, I just, for me, it's difficult to see this, really apply this approach with, my own setting. So my question is, do you see this you could apply with your, when you do any interprofessional team training or even the existing, interprofessional teamwork? Do you see yourself to use such an approach?
Thank you for a good question. Actually, I would like to use this this TBM's methodology in our context, but now I only offer them a team-based examination, which is paper-based, and I give them one case, and the group, which consists of medical students and pharmacology students, they need to collaborate and discuss how we can prevent such medical error. Actually, case is about the medical error case. And they need to fill out what happened in the chronological order, like Dr. A prescribed the wrong drugs, and after that, pharmacologist B did not, notice that or something like that. And below that line, the students need to fill out why such kind of thing happened. And below that, they need to find out what the solution or how can we do for preventing such things happen like that. And finally, we figured out that team-based exam was some sort of effective for them, but we figured out we cannot judge their teamwork or team cohesion. So I would like to use this TBM into my setting, if possible.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing the example. I feel like just based on what you shared, right? When they use the, the team-based exam, like what you mentioned about, I assume it's, for the preclinical part, right? Preclinical and assess how the team work together, solve the problem together. My understanding is that's slightly different from when they are working in a clinical setting. In a sense, is let's say like for a group of year 1 medical students, let's say for pharmacology class, right? 5 of them they work together, solve one problem. The thing is, we are 5, 6 of them. They are all on a similar stage regarding, like knowledge or whatever, how much they know about this topic, right? Because they're all year 2 students. But once we are in a clinical setting, when the teamwork involved, so it's too often it's the one thing might be people from different profession, right? Like here, PT, nursing, or medicine. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Other thing, the different hierarchy. You might have a senior attending doctor there, and then have a resident, and then have a year 3 or year 4 medical student there. So the combination of a team like this, with different levels of their training, different levels of their experience, and also different profession. I think such a team is very different from you have a team of all the team members, quite homogeneous. So that's why I think this will be one of the variables. They will make the whole dynamic quite different.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So I think, that's really interesting. Because when the participants' level is totally different,
right?
Maybe interaction will be totally different from homogeneous group.
Very different, right?
Yeah, and so we need to think about each person's level or experiences, background, and also what kind of interactions, what kind of dynamics would happen between such people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of such perspective, we need to rethink about these TBMs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely.
So I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I think creating TBMs is kind of very, very difficult part of this research.
Right.
You know, this time only 2 faculty created these TBMs, but actually we need to invite many faculty members in order to create.
The whole team to be there, right?
So,
Well,
yeah.
so
Did you ask?
that's what I'm thinking. The targeted behavior marker. Also, the thing I feel like, it really depends on what scenario you put the students, you put them in.
Yeah.
Once the scenario different, their teamwork behaviors are very likely different too. And then with such, it's time consuming, requires experts, and also, the different expertise. Does it mean you have to develop a set of the TBM, targeted behavior marker for individual scenario, or you can basically create one can be like universal. For example, the one they used for the scenario in this study. So I don't, but that's my question. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point. Because if the checklist is focusing on one student or one participant, the assessor need to focus on that person, that individual, all the time.
Right.
Yeah, but it's impossible, right? Because
you have the whole team basically their emotion. How can you basically isolate your attention only to one person?
That can be very difficult.
Yeah.
And usually we have not so many assessors one time. Usually I'm only person who evaluate team performance, so I don't have multiple eyes, so we need to record the simulation or we need to ask someone else to focus in on the other students, something like that.
You mean like have sort of like this article, have the video, and then let your other colleagues review the videos later? To assess. But anyway, so it is time consuming. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. If you use this article into your context, maybe it's kind of hard, right? Because you cannot record every single simulation sessions in your life.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Normally the other reality is once you record and then you go back to review and then, it's the whole thing. Like in medicine, in healthcare in general, I feel like everybody is just on a so fast pace, right? Want to get it done, so that's why like a checklist is so attractive. Yeah.
I wondered, are you using TPOT when you doing a team steps training?
No.
In your situation?
No. The team steps training when I did the team steps training, that was back in US. We just use the team steps there.
Oh, okay.
The checklist there. Yeah.
Yeah, if I were the participant of the team steps and I got the score of team, TPOT, like your rating was 3 or 4, something like that, I feel like, am I doing good or bad? I can't figure out.
Yeah, one suggestion I have is actually it's just like are you familiar with Mini CX, the assessment?
Yeah.
right? They have the Likert scale, those the points, but beyond that, they also have the space. You can write down the narrative comments there. So all about this, I mean, just use one of the like the TPOT there, right? But instead of, I mean, the TPM, it is the idea is it's great, but don't give that many structures. Don't keep it structured. Just say like, you know, based on your observation, like what you said, you are the only one observe the whole team, their emotion, and then you just based on your observation, and then just write down a few key things, sort of, you know, standing out regarding individual team member. So narrative part. So the end is like when we see how well the person did, it's you know, you have the TPOT, the number there, but also you have the narrative comments too. So sort of the
that's right.
Together.
Yeah, that's very effective. Yeah, if I were a participant, I would like to know the rater's comment, and I would like to know exactly what was my good point and the other point I need to improve or like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I picked up this journal because I'm really interested in team performance assessment.
Yeah,
and I think TBM's idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this concept of TBMs. So I would like to introduce this concept into my situation anyhow. But still,
Sayaka, what I'm
go ahead.
about, why don't you use TBM in when they write down the narrative part, their comments? Because we know, I mean, like, provide any feedback, right? You cannot just randomly say, like, I saw 3 things this person was doing, you write down. Let's use the TBM to structure their narrative part, sort of like a framework. See, whatever the narrative you write down has to be targeted behavior marker. But of course, you need to discuss with the team. I mean, whoever other faculty, what are these the targeted behavior markers we're talking about, right? Have the discussion ahead of time, and then everybody is on the same page. You know there are the list of the markers. So that's why when you after they do the simulation session, and then when you write down, you sort of have a pre-list there already. You know, you just pick the field, apply to this person. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. I might make your life a little bit easier. I don't know.
That's right. You mean if we should add some comments in to the TBMs, right?
No, what I'm thinking about TBM, let's say like, you know, has a resuscitation, right? Like, let's say you are the faculty, I am too, we have 2 other people there, 4 of us. 4 of us should discuss ahead of time before students come in for the simulation. We'll see, oh, for resuscitation, you know, what will be the targeted behavior marker? I mean, basically, those are the key, either the key steps or the key. I think those are the key steps you would look for, right? When they do presentation. And then, I mean, once you have a discussion like that, everybody know these are the key things we should look for. So, and then when you write down your comments, you can see like whether the person did cover the key behavior or not. And then
I see
how well the person did. It's sort of like a framework, you know, you have it there.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, if we break down the event into some frameworks, like some behaviors,
yeah, I would say that
it makes
targeted behavior.
It makes really easier for me to check it.
Because otherwise, it's not,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like for otherwise, right now you ask me, you say assess a resuscitation was like, you know, what exactly should I?
That's
for?
Yeah, that's right.
Everyone's easier. For you, it's easier. Other faculty is easier too. Yeah. I don't
Yeah, that's right.
suggestion. Yeah. I'm just looking to see if we have comments from our participants.
Yeah.
Let me ask one more time.
So,
It will be very interesting. You know, you do a study. I mean, you were talking about for your research. I think it'll be very interesting to see what you find out then.
thank you.
Yeah.
So, how did you know that the two attendees from, you said India, right?
I saw their name in the beginning, but now, for some reason, I don't see them again.
I only see attendees 4 out of 101. But anyway, I think there is no question so far.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. If so, so you want to end the session?
Yeah, maybe we should end right now
Sure.
if there is no more questions.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sayaka. I really
Thank you so much.
No, I really enjoyed this seriously. So reading the article and then for your review, the overview of the article summary, and also definitely I think it's a good area to do research on.
Yeah. I was really glad that we had a very fruitful discussions together. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so what about next time?
Next time, we need the volunteers, right? So for the two friends, let me see if I can send the chat to them separately. Oh, I see the. Yeah, I don't know. So maybe we'll email then. Send the email to everyone. Say like we would like 2 or 3 volunteer to lead the next session for the discussion. Then, yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Let's do that through email.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Dayaka. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah. So I will stop the recording now, okay?